All right. Sultai Muldrotha. This is probably a deck list where I'm going to be very happy that we can edit the deck in between matches. There's probably a good chance this deck is too clunky. There's a lot of beef up here at the top end, if you would. What's going on, Roberts? I think there's a good chance Vivien's a little bit too clunky in here. We don't have a ton of creatures. We might want like not playing Jade Light Ranger. It might be wrong. Although I guess at the same time I only have 12 green sources, so we might need to push towards being more of the traditional green-black core with a blue splash. But for now, because I have the ability to change the deck in between matches, I do like to start with the submitted deck list card for card and play at least 2 matches or so before we make too many edits. No, I never took a formal logic course. The curve gives me anxiety. It kind of does, doesn't it? At least our deck has a bunch of good 2-drops in it. Like we have 4 explorers and 4 of the 3/1. Look at these incredibly castable spells. Ain't nothing to worry about here. Hey, Blake Zer, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate the support. Hope you're having a good Friday, good start to your weekend. If it says anything when I press T in the Chrome tab, the address bar of your Twitch channel is what pops up. What's going on, Stack Size Biscuit? I appreciate the 1.5 years. Welcome back. Yeah, so for those not familiar with what we do on this channel, this is a channel where we largely play viewer submitted deck lists. So someone sent this in. I think I made a small... If I double check the submission, I think this deck was even slightly clunkier than what this is and didn't have Merfolk Branchwalker, so I added some of the Explorer creatures, try and smooth things out a little bit more. But there's a good chance we push some of the details around here before we finish with this deck today. It's usually play 3, 4, 5 matches with things depending on how much time we get. Yeah, message on Discord would be ideal. Lets me check it after the fact. Looks like mono blue for the opponent. Pretty slow start for them. No 1-drop, no Curious Obsession. If they jam a Jin here, I just get to Contempt it. You guys want to bin that for now? So the new Mystic Snake could be sweet in something like this, but I would like to direct your attention to our 2 basic swamps and say maybe that's not the best idea. I believe Teferi is bad is now a meme. I believe that's where we've headed. So a lot of times, especially newer Magic players ask, like, what does it mean to describe something as a tempo deck? So the best example of a tempo play is what my opponent just did here. Their dive down stopped our Vraska's Contempt, and not only did they get a 1-for-1 with that dive down, but they spent 1 mana to disrupt my 4 mana. So the ratio at which they've exchanged mana there, in addition to getting a 1-for-1, is very favorable to them. Details on how to get into the subs Discord can be found here. All right, do they have another counter spell here? They can have Spell Pierce or the Wizard counter, Wizard Retort. Rough. We're not attacking with this because I like to block one of these 2/2s next turn ideally. We are definitely the control deck in this matchup. The opponent is pressuring us and we want to try and stay alive here. Yeah, exactly. Wax paper. So like every 1-for-1 where they trade up on resources is like favorable to them because they're pressuring our health total. Exclusion Mage. I don't know how I feel about that. Like on one side of the coin, I'm like getting to get to explore again, but on the other side of the coin, I'm like taking 4 this turn. Really need to hit another creature or removal spell here so I can play 2 spells this turn. This is the reading Muldrotha pause while they like look through my graveyard. Yep, yeah, this is match 1, game 1 for this deck. Wait, what? I can play an extra land each turn? Seriously? That's how that works? The land... Okay, yeah, I don't think that's how it works. Triple Trickster is really brutal. This is such a clunky interface. So I can play Tatyova. And then I can play Merfolk Branchwalker. That doesn't do it, right? Cast a land. Sure. Just what a great use of, yeah, the Siren Stormtamer is exactly lethal in the air. So I can put 1 more blocker down, but then I'm taking 3. They're just like the 9 mana Molderhulk. Awkward. Alright, cast down. Assassin's Trophy, probably some fungal infection. Just cut a bunch of this clunk at our top end. How can you access my Discord? You need to open your connections tab and click join server. The most important thing to note is you'll only be able to do that from your desktop. You cannot do it using your mobile. If you're on your mobile device, that's not an option. What's going on, Greasy? I have no idea. I think Mono Blue is a very reasonable deck in both formats. I think it has a proactive game plan that allows us to run people down. Although I guess I don't know what its Mono Red matchup's like. It has a bad Mono White matchup. I don't know what people play on the ladder. I don't play best of one. I really can't offhand burn player. It's, I get a lot of notifications every day on Twitter. It's real buried at this point if it was from yesterday. I mean, Rendrag, at a certain point, something's got to give, though, right? Like, this deck's trying to have enough creatures to play, but, like, at the same time, like, if it's doing the... Oh, what a feel bad. Happy New Year, Carvizen. Thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. I think there's a good chance that whatever the optimal version of this deck looks like, it's probably just the gold garbage deck, the green-black undergrowth deck. Gold garbage, yeah. Deal. This little fungus is going the distance. It's gonna run them all the way down. Wow, Reid. Hey, look, eventually this Molderhulk's gonna be castable, okay? And he's a real fun guy. He brings the party with him. One land closer to Molderhulk. And now he's dead. Hey, what's going on, Jeff? Ooh. For the children in the audience, that was not a dab. I was sneezing. That's something old people do sometimes. Teacup. We are doing all right. We're doing probably another half hour, 45 minutes or so. Dabbing on the children. Am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong. Going to FNM? No, I don't really play FNM. I play Magic all day for my job. In the evenings, I sleep or play with my kids or hang out with my wife. I basically work, sleep, and hang out with my family. It's like my 3 modes. Every year, I become less Bart and more Principal Skinner. Isn't that just like a depressing fact of life? Every year, less Bart, more Principal Skinner. And that's why shows like The Simpsons are so relatable, right? There's a character for everyone. I think I'm becoming Mrs. Krabappel. Responding to people on social media has arguably worked for me. Wow, Reid. I guess I'd rather I get that counter than Molderhulk, though, or than Assassin's Trophy. It's also more resource efficient. Although I suppose I could Trophy plus Azcanta activate this turn to try and generate a little bit of advantage that way. I relate to Ralph more than anyone. Oh, Ralph. I get to do both of these this turn now, which is sweet. Aha! I've activated my trap card. So we get to activate Azcanta now, which maybe will be useful. This game should be a good test of like if the Azcanta is worth having in this deck, because like we don't actually have win conditions that the Azcanta can get really. I'm gonna go ahead and fungal the Storm Tamer and then Glowspore Shaman. Might as well, can't cast the Contempt anyways. And I'm playing the Glowspore Shaman second here because I would like to play the Fungal Infection and not get Spell Pierced. I've been able to recognize cards by the sounds they make on Arena. That's impressive. I'd like to decline putting a land on top of my deck, thank you. If I play Fungal Infection during their upkeep, I can get Spell Pierced. Yeah, I agree, Rundrag. I think Muldrotha is likely just a win more card. It's a card where by the time you get it set up and do all the work to make it playable, you probably could have made something else playable. Hey, Tutingy, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. They're shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. I appreciate that. We're like just dead here, right? I have to like draw another removal spell. I need to draw like cast down. All right, let's gut this a little bit and try and make this work. We need some creatures in our deck. We need less blue and more green black. I think if this has like any chance of working, it probably looks more like green, black, splash blue, rather than this deck, which has a lot of blue mana in it. So many black sources I'm at here. This is 12. This is 7. Wow, there's so much black mana in this deck. What else do I want? I want some Chupacabras. Just like get creatures that do stuff. Happy Friday, Uncle Gale. I want some forests in this deck. First time subscriber, long time viewer. I enjoy your content. Want to support you well. Thank you, Toon Tingy. I appreciate it. Subs like those ones are the reason why I am able to be here as often as I am. Do I want Harpooners? That card might be main deckable. This Eldest Reborn is probably some hot nonsense. I like the idea of Harpooner. It's like another 2-drop. Deadweight is potentially good. Yeah, I guess that's enchantment removal you could play off of Muldrotha, huh? 6 months, it's like half a year. Ecstasy and service. I appreciate the 6-month reset. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks back this way again this month. Yeah, I like the idea of Deadweight. I'm gonna replace the fungals in the sideboard with that. The 3/4 dino. Do I have enough green sources for that? Yeah, I guess I'm up to 15. Some Brontodon. We need enchantment payoffs. Okay, let's get the fine finales and get some enchantment payoffs in here. Eldest Reborn is a reasonable enchantment payoff. Let's put a couple of dead weights in the main. What did I just do? Oh, need to cut one more card. Alright, let's try this. I think Tatyova is worth it. Probably not, but I want to at least keep some of the core that the person submitted. Even if I'm cleaning up the details, and like the cute cards like Tatyova and Muldrotha are things like they obviously wanted to be doing. So I want to make sure I leave those in there to try and get a feel for if they're potentially playable or not, to give feedback on them at the end. So like when I make changes to deck that someone submitted, I always try and keep the core idea present. I always sculpt the details around it if the deck's like really clunky into the borderline of not being functional, but keeping the core idea there is really important, I think. Someone asked if Stitcher Supplier I think is worth it. I think Stitcher Supplier and the 3-1 are like pretty important for making Molderhulk work consistently. Swimmy Dude, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome, I appreciate that. And what's currently going on in chat with all the cards people are suggesting is explicitly why I generally don't build decks on stream. And why when I do make changes to decks on stream, I do it very quickly. Because building decks on stream very quickly devolves into lots of chat yelling lots of card ideas at me with no validation. Happy 5 months, Zozie. Thank you for the 5-month resub there. I appreciate that. 5 months is always so awkward. It's like 5 and 7, because like at 3 and 4, I say like a quarter of a year and a third of a year, and like 5 just like doesn't have a clean fraction. It's like, thanks for 5/12ths of a year. Gross. Are we playing against Bantfog? So what do you say for 10 months? Thanks for the 5/6 of a year of support, Dirty Evictus. Nexus of Hate. As a Turbo Fog player, I'm so glad to see people in chat hate playing against it. Ah, yes, delicious, delicious sodium. Everybody likes playing with Bantfog, granting Bob. They just don't like playing against it. Yeah, Bantfog is getting a lot of good tools in the new set. It's gonna be sweet. And by sweet, I mean prepare yourselves. Divine Visitation. Okay, so maybe not what we were expecting. Bit of a brew. Yeah, we could get, March is gonna get real messy here for us. It's gonna make 2 4/4s. Yeah, Wilderness Reclamation with the fact that, oh, just settle, okay. There are not that many basic lands in this deck. Guess that doesn't surprise me. Bant Fog's just a great example of why best of one magic is pretty rancid. So this is one of the things that I like to point out when we play decks like this. So like, we're doing this work to get Muldrotha into play, and like, we've got the card that our deck is named after on the battlefield, and it's just completely underwhelming, right? Like, here's the thing. I did the thing. Is it good yet? Tell me when it's good. All right, it got tucked. Oh, good, I can Chupacabra the Teferi. Excellent. Excellent.
Need to move quickly.
This silly Teferi got nothing on Muldrotha. Ain't nobody called Muldrotha a bad card. Lots of people know that this one is bad. I think you probably play like 2 of the enchantment, Bob. All we need is Sylvan Awakening, right? Just something to do. I have 2 Brontodons in my deck. Let's see if I can draw a Brontodon. Okey-doke. Alright, pull some of these mediocre cards out of my deck. Get in answers for their obnoxious stuff. Harpooner doesn't seem great. Creatures this leave me with 24. Guys, really not a lot of creatures for Molderhulk. These Molderhulks keep being really awkward, and we even added creatures from the original submitted list too. I think Green Black Elves has secured itself as the best deck of the day. Like to play first. Yeah, it's fine. Kill stuff. Harpooner kills Lyras. We don't actually know what their deck is doing yet, though, is the issue. If you think there's any amount of lands that you can put in your deck that will prevent you from ever getting mana screwed, I would encourage you to understand what the word random means and how a properly shuffled deck functions. And nonsense, the shuffler was out to get me, the shuffler is broken stuff. That's just not welcome in my chat. That's just clutter. Be constructive, be specific. Have some logic in your brain. Correct number is 60. That's true. You won't stumble and die with 60. You'll have the inverse problem with that one. Can you explain combinatorics to us lovely chatters? No, I stream on Twitch now, so I don't have to teach anymore. So feel free to Google it. The Dawn of Hope's not gonna do anything anytime soon, right? But the ops also are just like random cards. I guess I just take the Dawn of Hope. Help blue tempo? It'll probably be played in blue tempo. It's probably better than things like Essence Scatter. Does it push it over the top or make it a lot better than it is now? I don't know. Probably not. It's probably just still just like a tier 2 deck. Do you want to assign random tier numbers to things? All of my stuff goes up on YouTube immediately following when I sign off. So we're gonna finish this deck. I don't know. I'll probably be done with this one another match or two here, and then I'll hit publish on a bunch of stuff on my YouTube channel. So like an hour tops. Yeah, they don't play Lookout's Dispersal though, because that one's often going to be 3 mana in their deck. They only have like 6 pirates at most usually. When you're desperate to surveil, you got my Stitcher, Supplier opponent. You showed him the business end of that counterspell. That's really awkward. That's the last basic out of my deck. No, we only play Construct on this channel. So if you're looking for someone that's playing Limited, you're going to want to go check anywhere else. No, Magic only rotates cards once per year. If you go to what'sinstandard.com, it shows you when things rotate. It's every October. So when October hits next fall, the oldest 4 sets will rotate out. Yeah, I'd rather just not get got by the Divine Visitation. That's true. For $100 tips, I play Limited. Yeah, Caleb's a good recommendation for a Limited streamer.
The wilds like I do.
Numot's also pretty reasonable. Boop, boop. Exalted Pathfinder. There's a card I haven't thought about for a while. Man, that card was busted. What's going on, Raindrop? Happy Friday. Hope you're having a good start to your weekend. I'll be live again at some point this week. I think I'm going to stream tomorrow night and then probably Sunday during the day. Yeah, probably a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. My Magic Online queue is pretty much all caught up, so I'll probably do like 1 to 2 Magic Online decks and 2 to 3 Magic Arena decks like I do during the week. Just the huge, if you would. Can we see a Declan reaction video to him playing dinos? That could be fun. Maybe at some point. All right, so not quite sure what their deck is doing still. We've seen Divine Visitation 2 games in a row, but we haven't seen any payoffs for it yet. It's like, what are we doing? Exalted Pathfinder is not a Magic card. It's a card from a different game that I used to stream that then went under. It was a Hex Shards of Fate card. Is Dawn of Hope the payoff? Oh, you're right, Jackal Girl. Dawn might be the payoff for them. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, sure. Need some lands, but like these two both help me find them. Mull to 6. Stitcher Suppliers, both in our opener, aren't super exciting, but they'll help enable if we hit a Muldrotha or a Molderhulk down the line. Let's do this because it gives us the highest chance of hitting a land drop, extra land. Ding. I put 2 creatures in the bin too, which is not bad. Much am I planning on spending when the new set drops? $200 to $200 dues. Want to make sure we sequence Supplier before Branchwalker here, so that way if Branchwalker hits a spell we want to keep, we don't mill it over. Has Garfield ever made a successful game other than Magic? Kings of Tokyo is considered a pretty successful board game. A couple other random ones like that. I don't know if you can consider Keyforge successful. Keyforge is still very young, although a couple of people have said it's selling really well. Robo Rally, that's another one. Richard Garfield has made a lot of games, like a lot of games. Keyforge is doing better than Artifact. To set a bar that's incredibly low, Keyforge is doing better than Artifact. What's the plan for rotation in regards to the queue? At a certain point, I'm gonna stop accepting standard deck donations for this current format as we get closer to the next set releasing. And like, rotation's not happening. People keep saying rotation, it's just a set release, chat. Yeah, no joke. I put the kids to bed last night and Christy was out with some of her friends and I like decided to fire up Artifact because they've done like 2 patches. I was like, I'm just gonna try it and make sure it sucks. I played like 2.5 games. I was just like 2 turns into the 3rd game and I was just like, this is just so bad. I can't do it. Maybe when they announce their big money tournament, I'll play a little bit to try and qualify for it, but the game is just so... It just feels tedious almost. The next rotation happens in October, and the oldest 4 sets rotate out. So Magic rotates once per year every fall. Set release means money rotating out of my bank account, doesn't it, for everyone? Doesn't it always? Yeah, Magic standard format always goes between having 5 and 8 sets in it. So when a 9th set would be added to Magic, the oldest 4 rotate out and it goes back down to 5. Artifact feels like the poster child for interesting, forgetting that interesting is not the same thing as fun. Yeah, I think that's an interesting way to put it. The best way I can describe Artifact, if you haven't tried it, is it's basically like taking a competitive math test. Every turn is basically you and your opponent going back and forth, modifying a math equation in the middle. And then when you're both happy with the math equation, your opponent clicks resolve, and then you click resolve, and the math resolves. It's like, all right, we did math together. Yay! Well, I guess I shouldn't say when you're both happy. When you're both done modifying the math, you click resolve. Wow, brutal top deck.
Stars are lessons written in skin.
Multiplayer Sudoku. There is definitely a type of person that Artifact's gameplay is going to greatly appeal to. Like, there's still people playing it, right? Like, its numbers tanked, but it's like, you know, if I open it on Twitch right now, there's probably like 1,000 people watching Artifact right now. There's probably, you know, 2,000 playing it or whatever. I think the Steam chart said they had like 5,000 concurrent people playing it still. Their economy just went straight into the dumpster, though. Like, their booster packs sell for $2, and their secondary market value is like 88 cents or something garbage like that. It's like nice secondary economy. No, I don't think that's true, RX. All the really competitive people that are like playing Artifact, they're just like hoping to spike this really small tournament because like a bunch of people stopped playing it. What time is my announcement tour? I don't actually know. I need to message the people I'm coordinating with on that, actually. I almost wish Artifact was good because Valve is a really good software company, and all of the software details surrounding Artifact are great. It's just like the actual game itself is just like aggressively mediocre. Yeah, it'll be on Twitter. I actually won't be streaming for it, so it'll mostly be on Twitter. That's awesome, story mode. Kinda. Alright, so we're gonna hold this land for the Druid here. Here's to Constructed and Dead Guy Ale. Thank you, Drakkenstern, for the biddies. I appreciate it. I think I start by smashing. I might just Brontodon this Divine. Yeah, my thing and Caleb's thing might be related. I don't know what exactly they're doing, but I think they're dead. Alright, that's pretty good, Artiplex. That's all right. You got me. You made me. I needed that. That was a good chuckle. It's funny, Caleb was like grinding the SCG tournaments before I was, and like his like last years were like the start of my playing on their tour a whole bunch. And then he started streaming, and then I started streaming. All right, let's try one more with this. But this seems kind of clunky and awkward overall. I feel like and this is one of the things I think that people fail to identify when building new decks is, while Muldrotha is obviously this like card advantage engine, I feel like the amount of work we have to do and the amount of setup cards we have to play in this deck in relation to how powerful the payoff of Muldrotha is just like isn't really worthwhile. Like, we're doing too much work for not enough return, basically, is what it comes down to. Yeah, this is gonna be my last match of the day. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Everyone's having a great start to your weekend. I'll be back tomorrow night at some point, probably early evening. Yeah, I'm just gonna mulligan this. It's like 4 or 5 drops. And Oh, alrighty. It's, yeah. Woof. I haven't really looked at all the spoilers Fatal Roundhouse. I'm kind of like the Scrooge who hated spoiler season. I really would much rather just like see the complete set at the end of the day rather than sitting here and waiting and like getting little small updates. And no, I'm not gonna scoop. We're gonna play the match. This deck is clunky by design. It's got a lot of really awkward clunky cards in it. If I scoop every match that my hand's clunky, I'm just like literally never gonna play a game with this. Hey, W. Carl, thanks for the $10 tip. I appreciate it. For the Hanastapi deck, we'll do. We'll get that added today after we're done. Our curves come together here. Our hand is actually not that bad. I'm aggressively blocking this, not only to 4 them, obviously, but also because I want to dump creatures into my graveyard for the Molderhulk. Maybe we can just kill them with the Sedanto Vanguard. I mean, the early access doesn't happen until well after the full spoiler. Joops. He's a hungry boy. Boop. Let's boop him on the nose. Easy trade here. I think I just Tatyova. And so this turn I'm taking, if they have the land here, so this I'm just super dead, right? I'm actually just gonna be dead. This deck is this was a clunker. I might have to develop some slight standards for standard donation decks. This one was just a little bit too clunky. I even tried to take some of the clunk out of it before we started, and I just don't think Muldrotha is a very standard playable card. I think the payoff that you're getting in order for the warping amount you have to do to your deck in order to make this card good is just not reasonable. There's just too many cards we have to put into our deck that just like aren't really individually powerful and aren't standard playable on their own. That makes things clunky and awkward. I'll be back tomorrow evening, probably about 5 or 6 o'clock. I will post on Twitters and stuff like that. And I just got a notification that the announcement for my stuff tomorrow will be at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. So look for me on Twitters and stuff for that. So I'll catch all y'all on later. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll catch all y'all around real soon. Everybody have a good one.